Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Let me make sure we are actually live here. Pop out the chat here too. Okay, so we are live. Let me pop out the chat.
Live. Let me pop out.
Hey, salute, Senecu. So, just back from eCom Chicago. I don't know if you guys have heard about this event. If any of you guys are in Chicago, it's going to be going on for the rest of the afternoon. Also, it's going to be going on tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. And there's all types of really good sessions and stuff like that. I initially didn't know if I was going to be in town. So I hadn't signed up for the paid event. Today is kind of the intro event. And what's kind of cool is all these people who are going to be speaking at this event. What's up, Marty? What's up, Dustin? Everyone's speaking at this event. Amazon FBA, Amazon merch, product sourcing. I think they have a couple attorneys who are going to talk about kind of the legal end of things with Amazon with copyrights and trademarks. A lot of cool discussions and seminars. And again, today was kind of the intro day. So all these people volunteered their time and they were doing 20-minute coaching sessions. So you could sign up to chat with a bunch of different people. I wish I had more time. I had a dentist appointment this morning. I actually pushed it back to the afternoon. My dental insurance is going to be running out at the end of the month. I sold my share of my business to my partner, kind of on my own, just kind of hustling, doing my own thing now. So I figured I better get in and see the dentist before that comes to an end. But I did get a chance to meet with Chris Green and Glen from Hustler Hacks and Ken Hustle B, who does a lot of these meetups and is a reseller and a thrifter himself. So you guys are probably familiar with them. I imagine you guys watch their channel. But it looks like, what do we got tomorrow? We got how to flip phones for profit on eBay. Making it as a maker, leveraging Etsy's evolving definition of handmade to reach specialty markets, the rise of robots, bots for e-commerce, pitfalls of Amazon advertising, common mistakes people make, shipping and eBay payments, copyrights, trademarks, patents, what you need to know. That should be interesting. The sales power of an eBay store. Destroying hijackers and brand protection for private label sellers, the 5 things you need to know before you scale your business. I don't think I got the second page, but looks like some good events and things like that. I was really happy. It's happening, Kali. I was really happy that I went today. I've been talking about this a little bit. So I left. I think I've been on my own for about a week and a half here. And one thing I kind of realized is, I think a lot of times we tell ourselves like, oh, if I only had more time, if I would do this. Oh, if I weren't too tired from work, I would do this. And, I'm kind of finding myself in a position where I have all the time in the world right now. And I haven't really been happy with the quality of the work I've been getting done, what I've been doing. I think a lot of us have this tendency to, we work on little things that need to be done, but aren't really the most important things to do. And we put off a lot of times kind of the hardest things and the most difficult things to do. And I feel like I've kind of dropped the ball over, I wanted to kind of get a strong start into kind of hustling on my own and doing my own thing. My income's going to be taking a big hit here. And I wasn't really happy with my performance over the last week or two. So confidence has been a little bit low and stuff. And was super excited to go out to this thing today. Was a little bit nervous about it because I got a little bit of social anxiety. I'm kind of a weirdo. But went out there, had an awesome chat with Chris Green today. Had a great chat with Glen and Ken. It was funny with Chris, I had anticipated asking him a lot of merch questions, and we did talk a little bit about advertising and outsourcing to designers. Right now, I'm trying to hire some designers from the Philippines. And so he gave me some great tips on that. I got some good stuff out of Amazon from him. But really, like, one of the main things that I chatted about with him, and he kind of gave me a lot of insights, was in regards to like self-publishing, whether that's writing books, creating content, definitely work ethic, Senecu. But yeah, Chris had some great insights with that. One thing I think is really cool, he had his son with him today, and his son was younger. I'm guessing, early teens, if not even younger. And he has his own Amazon book out right now. And I thought that was really cool. I always, even from the Side Hustle Tuesday episodes, I think it's really cool when people get young people and their kids involved in e-commerce and hustling. I think traditionally most of us, wind up growing up seeing our parents going to 9-to-5 jobs, and that just kind of becomes a normal thing. And, whatever your mom or dad did, you have a tendency to maybe just kind of follow that path and go into that. And most of us don't really get exposure to entrepreneurship and hustling and making money outside of a job at a young age. So I know, like, when I first made like my first couple cents on AdSense, this is like way back in the day, I remember it just like really opened up kind of like almost like a mental block in my head that, like, even though it was only 3 cents or whatever, it was like, oh shit, I actually made money, and it wasn't a job that paid me. It wasn't something that came from a paycheck. This is something that I created on my own. And then it got to a quarter, and it was like, okay, well, that was pretty easy to make a quarter. If I could do 50 cents, and then I'm at 50 cents, and if I can do $1, and I remember at one point making like $3 a day, which, and I'm sure to a lot of people doesn't seem like a lot of money, but $3 a day times, what's that, $90 a month? I mean, at the time I was living check to check. I was hitting the Coinstar machine a couple days before payday. So that $90 made a world of difference to me. And that's kind of how I got my start. And I wish, I see a lot of these people starting entrepreneurship and stuff like in their teens and even younger. And I really wish I would have gotten started younger. So I think it's really cool that he's kind of involving his son and kind of teaching his son knows, how to hustle and how to make money on his own. I really didn't know that much about Chris Green. I know he's a big name in the merch community. I know he gets a lot of hate from people. I mean, he was the nicest guy in the world, had a ton of value to share. And I got a lot out of the conversation with him. I thought that was really cool. And I hope to catch up with him some more a little bit this weekend. After that, I had like a 20-minute coaching session with him. Then hopped over and met with Glen from Hustler Hacks. And you guys may know his buddy Ken. He's the Hustle Bee. They travel to a lot of different cities, do a lot of sourcing together and stuff like that. And it was awesome chatting with them as well. Glen, I've been on Merch Minds before. I've chatted with Glenn a little bit in the past, and I always knew he was a nice guy. But man, he is like the coolest dude, like real down to earth, real nice guy. We talked eBay, we talked Amazon, we talked Amazon merch. He kind of told me what he's been up to with merch. I've been a little bit out of the eBay game for a while. I've been meaning to kind of put a little bit more emphasis on that. So got some good tips from him there. And then Ken had some great info to share. Right now, I think I got about 77 applications I got to review from people from onlinejobs.ph, which is like where you hire freelancers from the Philippines. And it turns out that Ken is actually from the Philippines. So he actually had a lot of great insights in terms of like, I was offering to pay people X amount of money per month to get a full-time worker working for me with graphic design. And I was talking to Ken, and he told me, he's like, that's a pretty good wage. And just to kind of give some insight or give a comparison, he said, a lot of people over there work in call centers, and in a call center, he said somebody's making, I think he said like $300 to $600 a month. So just to give some context in terms of like what the normal person or average person is making over there. And it turned out I was offering a little bit more money than I needed to. Something that Chris Green and Ken and Glenn both seem to say is, which I've heard before too, is, pay these people enough so that they're not out there looking for other work. When I was looking at people's kind of job posts on onlinejobs.ph, and like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm looking for somebody to do designs for 50 cents or $1, or I'll pay you $1.50 an hour. And I don't know what kind of quality of work you're going to get for that amount of money. But also, if you're paying somebody peanuts, they're going to be on Fiverr, they're going to be on Upwork, they're going to be looking for other work. Whereas if you can develop a relationship and pay somebody and keep them happy, hopefully you kind of cuff that designer and you got them all for yourself, and they're going to kind of stick with you. But yeah, I had an awesome time today. Like I said, I initially wasn't going to be attending the full eCom Chicago event. Partly because I was being kind of a cheapskate. I'm taking a huge pay cut kind of going off on my own here. So I've been trying to be a little bit smarter with my money and kind of think about what I spend on. But, just after going there today and then kind of seeing the lineup of the events and some of the info that they got going on this weekend, as well as I feel like it'll be a great great experience to be able to make some content off of, as well as, you know, I'm kind of transitioning. I was talking to Chris and Glen and Ken about this, and I kind of told all of them, you know, I've been running my business since 2011. I've been full-time since 2015. And something that I hear a lot of entrepreneurs saying, it was funny, I actually saw a Reddit post about this the other day, is it's really easy unless you stay very, very cognizant and focused on, you know, actually Chris Green had a great thing. He said, treat everything like day one. And there's that, I was just listening to that Jay-Z song off, I think it was off the Blueprint 2. What is it? Day one, treat my first like my last and my last like my first. You know, I think there's a tendency when your business starts having some success and you start making some money to get kind of lazy and like, oh yeah, things are going smooth, I can kind of kick back. Customers are just kind of finding us naturally. What's happening, Snox? Customers are just kind of finding us naturally. I don't really need to continue to grow this, and it's very easy to kind of plateau and get stagnant and kind of get lazy. And I kind of told both those guys, I said, you know, I used to be like a hustler. I used to really have a grind. I used to always be moving. I used to be going to flea markets. I used to be flipping stuff on Craigslist, meeting up with people, had multiple things going. And I said, you know, over the past couple of years, you know, like the money has been pretty good. It took years to get to this point, but, you know, I got my business to the point where it was kind of established. And we had, you know, 60% returning customers, and everything just kind of ran on its own. And it's kind of easy to kind of get lazy. So I was kind of telling him, I feel like I've gotten a little bit soft over the past couple of years. And I really kind of need to turn hustle mode back on. It's kind of cool that I have more time now to kind of start getting into some of these other things I've been wanting to be doing. What's happening, Snox, in Germany? You doing Amazon merch, Snox? If anyone needs someone to translate their merch listings into German, maybe hit up Snox. He's from Germany. But yeah, just an awesome experience today. You know, I was having a little bit of a crisis of confidence. I was starting to worry a little bit about, like, you know, when I first started my business in 2011, man, we were packing orders for maybe $1.50 profit per order. And it was like that for, you know, probably at least 6 months for a year. Like, it's really hard to build a business. It takes a long time to build a business. And now kind of finding myself, you know, starting from scratch again. I was like, can I do this again? Was I a one-hit wonder? Can I get something going again? I forgot how hard this stuff is. So today was just kind of like a confidence booster, a great experience, and I'm kind of excited for what the rest of the weekend here at eCom Chicago has to offer. So, you know, if I get a chance, I'll try to. I don't know if they want you recording or whatever, but maybe I'll try to pull Glen and Ken aside or something like that. See if we can kind of get him on for a little chat. And I'll kind of try to kind of keep you guys in the loop, kind of documenting what's going on at this eCom in Chicago. If any of you guys are in Chicago, it's I guess technically it's Elk Grove Village. But if any of you guys are in Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, you know, really anywhere within a couple hours drive, I definitely encourage you to look into to coming out tomorrow and or Saturday. I think it's $199 to attend. Again, like I said, I was going to cheap out and not go to the paid part. I wish I could have stayed there longer today. I got to go to a dentist appointment and got to drive my girlfriend to the airport. She's heading to Iceland this weekend. But I decided to sign up. Are you come fro? I decided I registered for the thing right when I was there today. So I think it kicks off at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, badge pickup. And I think at 8:30 or 9, some of these presentations start. Like I said, I had a great talk with Chris Green. I think I'm going to try to hook up with him tomorrow and talk a little bit about, Chicago, Snox. So I think I'm gonna hook up with him tomorrow, chat a little bit more tomorrow, and I'd love to circle around and spend some time with Glen and Ken tomorrow as well. So if any of you guys are in Chicago or anywhere nearby, definitely encourage you to check it out. Let me see what the website is. eCom Chicago. I guess it's just at ecomchicago.com. So excited to attend those things tomorrow. I'll kind of keep you guys in a loop. I'll try to make some content and make some videos about some of the stuff I learned. I think some of the stuff about protecting your brand, protecting your listings, and some of the trademark stuff should be really interesting. But yeah, I guess that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate everybody. Let's see. If we got some questions, I'll hang out a little bit here. It's funny, no one wants to admit merch is saturated. I hate 125 designs of one sale this year. Jack, man, like, everything's saturated. It's really about kind of finding your own angle to come at things from. Obviously, you know, if you got on merch back in 2015, things were a lot easier. I was on merch in 2015 or 2016, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. I really kind of slept on the opportunity. I'm not a designer by nature, so I mean, I was kind of half-assing it, hiring people off Fiverr and things like that. Didn't really take it as seriously as I should have. I mean, back then, nobody really viewed merch as starting an apparel line or doing all this stuff. Back then, merch was kind of like, it was really just marketed towards app designers and game designers to kind of make merch for their stuff. It wasn't anywhere near what it's become today. So I kind of slept on the opportunity, and I really wish I would have hit merch a lot harder. It's really only been like the last year that I've really started having success on merch. Like if you look at my stats for the past year, there was a month that I made $0. There was a month that I made $1.96. I got my earnings up to 100, and then I crawled back. And I mean, now it's up to $1,000 a month over the summer, which is traditionally the slowest time, with some of my best months ever. And really, like, I've had the most success after it's become saturated. I mean, that's when I've started putting into work. But you know, I kind of slept on it for the first couple of years, so it's not really as if I had a head start on anybody. Jack, you know, if you're at, I hate 125. Okay, so you got 125 designs. If you got a decent number of designs to work with, but I mean, I feel like in terms of like making money on merch, it doesn't even start until tier 500. Like pretty much if you're not tier 500, your goal should be getting sales, pricing your shirts low, trying to tier up, buy your way out of the lower tiers. I mean, I talked to someone the other day, they've sold 8 shirts and they're at tier 500. Back when I first started, even though it was less saturated, to get out of tier 10, you had to sell 10 shirts. To get out of tier 25, you had to sell 25 shirts. To get out of tier 50, you had to sell 50 shirts. So, I mean, before I made it to tier 1,000, I had to sell 500 shirts. And now, like, people have never sold a shirt, and they're already being bumped up from 10 to 25 to 100. So even though it's tougher, a lot of the time, you know, in one sense, a lot of the people who are newer are getting breaks that a lot of the rest of us early on didn't. But shoot, man, buy a couple of your shirts for yourself, for some friends, for family members, for a gift for somebody. Buy some of your shirts as a Christmas gifts. The ability to get some more listings under your belt is going to allow you to hit more niches, to test different things, and that's really when it's going to start taking off. Thanks for letting us know. What's up, Winning? What's your job? So Snox, I don't have a job right now. So my last job was in 2015. I've been running my business alongside my day job since like 2011, really more 2012. It started kind of as a little eBay hustle in 2011. So I've been running a business since 2011. I left my job in 2015. I had an e-commerce business with a buddy of mine. We also did eBay, Amazon FBA, hoverboards. We had a lawn care business. Basically, we had our main e-commerce business, and we used money from that to kind of throw into other projects and kind of get other little hustles going. And I just sold my portion of the company the other week. So right now, I don't have a job. I guess right now you could say I'm a full-time Amazon merch seller, full-time YouTuber, and full-time affiliate marketer. My income from that stuff like pales in comparison to what I was making with in the e-commerce business. So right now I'm a little bit stressed trying to figure out what my next move is, what the next thing I'm going to get going is. But like I said, you know, today was kind of a huge kind of confidence booster, and I'm kind of really optimistic and kind of excited from the future. I was kind of down in the dumps for the past week. How do you feel about Amazon FBA? You know, Amazon FBA Winning. I used to be pretty big into Amazon. You know, a lot of the products that I was selling were parts. So replacement parts to like fix items, replacement parts for electronics and things like that. And Amazon's return policy, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could complain about with Amazon, but one of the things that annoyed me, their return policy is so generous that people would buy a part from me, put the part in their product, fix it, and send me back the broken part. Or people would buy the part, they happen to order the wrong part and they return it, or they buy the part, they can't figure out how to fix the item that they bought the part to fix, and then they return it. And when you do a return on Amazon, they give you the reasons for the return, and there's really nothing that kind of fits my scenario. So most people just mark it doesn't work or whatever, so that they can get free shipping back, and B, because there's not really a better answer. And so basically I wound up getting so many excessive returns that a couple of my listings wound up getting taken down. At one point, a private label product that me and my partner were selling that we actually created. Amazon was wanting me to turn over all my supplier data and was basically accusing me of infringing, I don't know, trademark, intellectual property infringement on my own product. In another case, I had bought a bunch of, after the Cubs won the World Series the other year, I had bought a crap load of Cubs merchandise from the Freedom Dye Company. This was authentic, licensed, official merchandise. At the time, you were allowed to sell it on Amazon. At some point, the MLB, NHL, NBA all decided they didn't want their stuff selling on third-party platforms. So they basically, Amazon in their terms of service says, we won't get in the middle of distribution fights, as does eBay. Turns out if the company who has an issue with you is big enough, they will get in the middle of distribution fights. So Amazon wound up going against their own TOS, giving me an intellectual property strike, and removing my listings for baseball stuff. And then I wound up getting stuck with all this MLB baseball stuff that, like, I wasn't going to set up a Shopify store to sell. I wasn't going to sell in a brick and mortar. So I wound up getting stuck with a fair bit of inventory. I actually know another guy who's literally losing his card shop and losing his businesses because he had ordered like $100,000 worth of official MLB merchandise to sell on Amazon because it was allowed to sell on Amazon. And then MLB and Amazon changed up the game a couple weeks after he orders the stuff. Now he's sitting on $100,000 worth of stuff. He's got 3 little local sports shops. There's no way he's ever going to move the stuff. And that really kind of tanked his whole business. He's had to shut down a couple card shops. He can't order inventory. He's paying money to warehouse all this stuff that isn't selling. So Amazon is just like so finicky that I've been kind of turned off to them. I have a couple of long-time private label products and little like knick-knack kind of nonsense like jewelry, bracelets, some survival items, just stuff that I've been selling going back to, I don't know, 2013, 2014. The stuff sells pretty passively. Like every 3 months, I'll re-up on inventory, send the stuff off to FBA. So, I mean, I still am doing it, but I'm not really trying to grow the business. I'm not putting a big emphasis into finding new products. I feel like back in the day, you could order any random thing off Alibaba, AliExpress, China Vision, 1688, and make money selling it on Amazon. I mean, I used to sell these like little like nipple clamp pumps and just all this like random nonsense kitchen gadgets. And I feel like now Amazon's really only worth it if you're trying to build like a sustainable brand. I think Amazon is great in the sense that there's kind of an unbiased third-party platform that people can go for reviews. Like anytime I buy something, even if I don't buy it from Amazon and I buy it from the company's website, I'll go over to Amazon to read reviews, or if I have questions about how the product works, you know how below an Amazon listing they got the questions. I'll always go over there and check that out before buying. So I think Amazon, and it ranks very well in Google for SEO. It's normally like the top search results, sometimes even above your own store. So if you're building a brand, if you have a Shopify store, I think it's great to be on Amazon to kind of get some credibility and some reviews there. But I'm definitely very against the idea of building an Amazon business or building an Amazon FBA business. I think Amazon could be or can be a great sales channel for a brand or for another business. But the idea of doing something just strictly and solely for Amazon, absolutely not. I mean, I've talked about this before too. Amazon was holding 50 grand of my money for over 3 months. I was reaching out to the executive offices. Nobody would get back to me. I'd get form letters back. Finally, I started sending like dozens of like handwritten letters to Jeff Bezos. And then mysteriously one day I get a call from the executive offices, sent our money back to us, opened our account back up, left us in good standing. So, you know, I don't trust any third-party platforms really. But I think if it's a sales channel and not a business, I think Amazon's awesome. Do you know Kali Park? You know what? It's funny. Kali Park said, "Do you know of any eCom events in Los Angeles?" So one funny thing that I was thinking about recently, like I'm always seeing like Glen actually of Hustler Hacks. Like he does a ton of traveling around. He's doing meetups in different cities. He's going to all these different conferences. I know recently in Seattle they had the merch conference out there that they've been doing the past year or two. And I'm always wondering, like, how do people find out? Like, whenever I find out about a lot of these conferences and things like that, it's already after the fact. It's already too late. And so I was always wondering, like, how do people find out about these? So actually, this one, this eCom Chicago, I just went on meetup.com, was looking for like entrepreneurship and business events and things like that around me, and just happened to stumble upon it. But I mean, I hadn't heard about it. I think Facebook is where you hear about a lot of this stuff. I don't do Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. But I know my business partner, like his Facebook ads, because he's into entrepreneurship and stuff, would always be, you know, Kevin O'Leary's coming to Chicago for this seminar, or this seminar is going on, or here's this real estate course. So I think Facebook's a good place to find out about some of that stuff. But yeah, definitely check out Meetup and Eventful. Actually, maybe I heard about this on Eventful, but check out Meetup and or Eventful. I was actually just thinking the other day, like something I think would actually be a great business idea would be to, I know sites like Meetup and whatever already exist, but basically have a platform that posts all the upcoming events, all the upcoming meetups for entrepreneurship, e-commerce, all the kind of stuff that we're kind of into. And I'm actually working right now. I was going to be setting up a forum. I know a lot of people say forums are like a thing of the past. You know, they've kind of been overtaken by Facebook groups and Reddit and stuff like this. But I love forums. You know, I'm kind of old school. I like forums. I like the format of like the chat going on there. I think it really encourages discussion. So I kind of stumbled my way through watching a bunch of these. Nobody makes forums these days. There's very few YouTube videos about how to set it up. So I was watching all these like YouTube videos from like 2006, 2007, 2008, where people were speaking whatever they speak in India. And I'm watching these videos like that are really grainy, trying to figure out. So anyhow, I stumbled my way through. I set up a MyBB forum. And it's going to be some different topics about entrepreneurship and things like that. I think I'm going to make myself a Keurig here. But all types of stuff about entrepreneurship. And I was actually going to have one forum category that was pretty much going to be all about like upcoming events. So, you know, post an event in your city. If you're hosting some kind of meetup, post it here. So I'm going to be trying to kind of do something like that. But yeah, I mean, if anyone was looking for a business idea to start, if you know anything about building communities or anything like that, I think that would be a resource that a lot of people would like to take advantage of. A lot of people I talk to are like, how do I find out about other events going on near me? But last year I was attending a lot of Bitcoin meetups and cryptocurrency meetups. There was a weekly meeting I was going to a lot. It's just really a lot of fun connecting with like-minded people who are into the same thing as you. And like I said, I'm kind of a weirdo. I'm a little bit, I got a little bit of social anxiety, but, you know, you get out amongst people who are into the same thing as you, and, you know, you can ramble all day. I was actually supposed to attend an event the other day, and it was like WordPress Professionals of Chicago. And they actually had a really good speaker there. But in terms of being able to find like freelancers and things like that, or partner up with people on projects, like things like that are absolutely awesome. So definitely check out Meetup. And like I said, if any of you guys are in Chicago, maybe we'll run into each other at some of these meetups. See, I own a strap. I love Mia Khalifa. She's a porn girl, right? Alexander McD. I own a watch strap making website called Dober Jober. I like the name. I just feel like things are not gaining traction. I know stuff is the best. Dober Jober. Let's check out your site here. Dober Jober. Let's see what you. Okay, you got some good photos and stuff. I don't know if you're actually making these. See if there's like an About Us page or something like that. Are you ordering these from a supplier, Dober Jober, or are you actually like handcrafting these and doing the leather work yourself? No, we got an About page here. Dober Jober is proudly operated from the Republic of Ireland. So one thing I would say, Dober Jober, man, if you're actually making these watch bands yourself and you're actually doing the leather work, I would definitely include that in part of your story on your About Us page. There's a guy, I've talked about him a number of times in the past. His name's Joel Carrico. If you want, go check him out right now. Joel Carrico Pottery, and he makes pottery, and he actually holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the I think the most like bowls spun in an hour. And instead of using an electric kick wheel, he actually uses a kick wheel, where he's having to kick the thing. But man, he does these Facebook live streams where he kind of talks to his audience as he's making the pottery. And I just noticed, like, you really kind of form a connection with him. The guy's selling these cosmic coffee mugs, which, don't get me wrong, they're super cool. But the guy's selling these cosmic coffee mugs for like $80, $140, $150. Some of these things are even going for, you know, a couple $100, I think. And, you know, well, he is an artist and people are willing to pay for art and stuff like that. I think because he shows you the process and kind of makes a connection with his audience, I think that's kind of why he's so successful doing it. But if you're actually doing the leather work, you know, definitely tell that story. Show yourself doing the leather work. Talk about how you got into it. You know, start a YouTube channel. Do some Facebook live streams. Blog about it. And I think people like appreciate the craftsmanship and want to support you as much as they want to buy your product. Let's see, what else do we got here? I feel better about my own situation now. That sounds depressing. What sounds depressing? Good to know. Thanks, man. Are you on the north side of Chicago? Right around Ukrainian Village. I'm making them. Thank you. Give me some pro pointers on how to discover new products trends to get the initial wave of consumer interest. So I thought Short and Sweet had a good question talking about how to find products. I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday. But in the video yesterday, I showed 3 websites that can help you to find products. And Empire Flippers is one. Empire Flippers is basically like a business broker site. Am I not in camera? Okay. Empire Flippers basically lists businesses for sale. Shopify Exchange is kind of the same thing. Shopify Exchange is people selling Shopify stores. But go on there, just start kind of browsing around, see what types of businesses people are running. I mean, there's so many businesses that there's so many different things you can sell, so many businesses, there's so many niches out there that you would never even think existed, would never even necessarily think that there was money in. So unless you get out there and start looking to see kind of what other people are doing, there's a million things you'd have no idea about. You know, I was talking to, I met up with Brian Phobos last Monday at Indiana Dunes. He just, I don't know if you guys know Brian Phobos. If not, check him out on YouTube. So Brian Phobos, he's real into like the EOS cryptocurrency. He's a mentor and a judge at a lot of these hackathons and things like that. He was living out in Arizona. He's on Steemit as well. Brian Phobos on Steemit and YouTube. But we were at the beach, man. We were talking, and he was telling me about some of the drop shipping stuff he was doing. And he wasn't drop shipping from China. He wasn't drop shipping from AliExpress. I don't want to give away his hustle or anything like that. Maybe I'll try to get him on the channel and see if he wants to talk about it. But he was basically finding resellers of items, working out deals with them, having them drop ship for him. And the products that he was drop shipping, I would never in a million years think that there was money in it. I would never think that you'd be able to resell them because he was essentially, in a sense, kind of buying retail. But he was making really, really good money doing it. And even with some of the businesses I run, you know, there are things that you would never, ever think about selling. So when you go out there and start looking at some of these stores, one of the cool things about Shopify is the Shopify Exchange actually pulls data directly from their Shopify store. So there's really kind of no lying or bullshitting about the sales stats. And, you know, you can kind of see what businesses are making money. I saw a guy who was selling generators, drop shipping generators on Shopify. And I would never think that he would do very well. But I mean, I don't know, I think he was doing like, I'm not even gonna throw out a number. I forget what it was, but like $80,000 a month in sales, just drop shipping generators. So, you know, get out there, start looking around. A lot of times I go on Reddit. Reddit's got a number of good entrepreneurship forums. There's like startups, entrepreneur ride along, e-commerce. Just kind of hop in there and start looking around. You'll see people talking about their businesses. You'll see people asking advice about their businesses. There's another subreddit called r/review my Shopify. That one to me is kind of garbage. It's a lot of these like kind of half-assed, really bad drop shipping stores. I don't know that you're going to gain much out of there, but start seeing what other people are doing. And that's going to kind of get you thinking. You may find some idea that you think you can do better or do a little bit different, or maybe it just kind of opens up your mind to some other ideas. Let's see. Hey, boss, you some sweet. Thanks for putting yourself out there and helping out the community. Thanks, Short Sweet. Cloudzilla Uptown. You know, I go up to Cloudzilla, man. I don't know if you ever go to. I don't think that's Uptown. I think it's probably Edgewater or something like that. But what is it called? Kathy Osterman Beach or Hollywood Beach up there. I say I take my paddleboard up there every now and again. I was actually just probably not quite as north as you, but I was just at. I don't know if you've ever been to Crisp in Edgewater, but that like Korean chicken wing place, man. If you haven't been there, Cloudzilla, go there today. Crisp, man, good stuff. How come I wasn't invited? What's up, young buddy, man? I had a great chat with Glen and Ken earlier today. I was wondering how come I wasn't invited either. Nick Diaz, right now the merch on Amazon debacle sounded very depressing to be stuck with it. Hey, Alexander McD. So when I was talking about getting stuck with the inventory, if I said Amazon merch, I misspoke. It was Amazon FBA. So basically this guy out east who had I think 2 or 3 sports memorabilia shops, also, you know, sold jerseys, sold a lot of licensed MLB memorabilia, clothing, cards, stuff like that. He had ordered about $100 grand worth of stuff to sell on Amazon FBA because at the time, Amazon allowed it, MLB allowed it, nobody cared. In between the time that he got that inventory and before he could sell all of it, let alone very much at all, MLB decided they didn't want their stuff being sold on third-party sites. Amazon kind of went against their own terms of service by getting in the middle of essentially distribution fights. And it really kind of like screwed this guy. Like I got screwed to a lesser extent. I mean, me and my business partner wound up selling through most of this stuff. The stuff that we couldn't sell on Amazon, we wound up selling some of it on eBay. And since we're here in Chicago, wound up selling some of it locally as well on Craigslist. Offer up 5 miles, let's go. But we got stuck with inventory. Actually, when I was leaving the office the other day, packing all my stuff to move out, I was still finding like Cubs. I forget what even year was it, 2015, 2016, Cubs World Series champions, decals and antenna flags and house flags and car flags. And we got stuck with a bit of it, but nowhere near as much as him. Let's see. I was just at Leader Beach on Irving Park for the UFC fights. Yeah, you know, for beaches, I normally go out to Southwest Michigan. You know, I'm normally out in like Weco Beach. I like going a little bit further north to Stevensville, to Grandmere State Park out there. But yeah, in the city, we'll normally go to I don't know, Kathy Osterman, or I take my paddleboard out to Montrose Beach quite a bit. Oh, Cloudzilla. So as far as the website, you know, I've been sleeping on for years. I've wanted to come out with kind of like a home base for kind of my online presence for YouTube and stuff like that. And so over the years, like I set up a Wix, RulesForRebels.com. Wix kind of sucks. I did WordPress. Then I went over to Squarespace. It was kind of like half-assed. I was never able to get the site exactly how I wanted it. So I never really spent that much time kind of blogging on it and stuff like that. And I really just didn't have the time to. So recently, I've kind of been getting everything set up how I wanted. And yesterday, I have shared hosting on HostGator. And I kind of suck when it comes to like hosting and connecting domains and stuff like that. I normally pay people to do stuff like that for me. But I wanted to kind of get better at that stuff. So I'm doing an add-on domain on HostGator. I was trying to upload this forum software. So I was trying PHPBB, MyBB, not vanilla forums, simple machines. And I couldn't get it to upload. So I deleted all my files and wiped off the whole site. Glen who? Oh, that guy. I forget the name of his channel. Glen Hustler Hacks. He's got this podcast with this other lame guy. I can't think of his name. I'm playing with you, Young. Yeah, good to see you stop in here, Young. I was surprised not to see you there. I know you were at the Seattle conference. But yeah, this Chicago one, man, this eCom Chicago, this thing kind of snuck up on me. I hadn't heard anything about it. Hadn't really seen it being marketed, and just stumbled upon it. The other day, now that I got some more time on my hands, I was like, shoot, I'm gonna just try to start connecting with other entrepreneurs, going to more events and things like that. So just kind of hopped on Meetup and Eventful and some of those, and just happened to kind of stumble upon it. Wix overcharge. You know what? Not only does Wix overcharge, but I know Wix years ago had that problem where their sites weren't being indexed by search engines. It's somewhat limited. The other thing I didn't really like about Wix is Wix does not, at least as far as I know, or last time I was on there, they don't have a way that you can export all your blog posts and all your data. So if you ever want to leave Wix, you're literally going to be manually copying and pasting every blog post you've ever done, which could be, in the hundreds or even thousands if it's been years. And you're having to copy and paste those all over to a new WordPress site. I think they do that on purpose so that people who get started and kind of get comfortable with blogging and websites and stuff like that don't say, okay, I'm going to make the leap to WordPress because it's going to be such a headache for them to leave. But you know what, the challenging thing for people who are non-designers, I've always found WordPress to be kind of challenging to get everything exactly how I want it. And one of the problems with hiring web designers is, man, there's so many like flaky web designers and stuff out there. So my girlfriend was kind of in charge of having a website built for her boss. They hired some guy out of the country, put together a really crappy site, took forever to do it. Then before everything was really finalized and finished, the guy just kind of disappeared. They never heard from him again. So then there's a gentleman. He watches my channel, so I hope he doesn't think I'm talking shit. But it is something that's frustrating. So this dude who watches my channel, who I've connected with, he's a good dude. I've chatted with him a lot. I know he knows his stuff. So I had kind of enlisted him to help my girlfriend with this website. And I told him right off the bat, I said, they've had kind of a frustrating experience. This thing needs to be done ASAP. I said, really, the number one thing I'm looking for is somebody reliable, somebody who's not going to drop the ball and flake on me. And they tell me it's going to take a week. And then 3 weeks from now, I'm not getting a hold of them. And, we're going on, I kind of vouch for this guy. I talked him up. It was a little bit more money than they wanted to spend. I said, this guy's worth it. I personally know him. I guarantee you he's not going to flake on you. And I don't know if he's got some personal issues going on in his life, or which, shit happens, or if he just kind of has taken on more work than he can do. But, I'm kind of looking like an asshole here because I recommended this guy and a month has gone by and we haven't even seen a draft or anything. So let's see. I'm working with someone like that. Never heard of Hustler X. That is the real Young. Let's see, other questioning organizational advice for searching FBA spreadsheets to use templates. Short and sweet. I don't know what you mean by searching FBA. Obviously, like Jungle Scout's good. Unicorn Smasher is a good free version. You can download Unicorn Smasher. It's a free Chrome browser extension. That's pretty helpful for like searching Amazon for products and things like that. One thing that's kind of turned me off to Amazon a little bit, I don't know if you guys have noticed, in a lot of the side hustle episodes, I've been getting into a lot more handmade stuff. But like anytime I come up with a product idea or a niche I'd like to get into, every single product on Amazon is on AliExpress or on Alibaba. And every product on Alibaba is like the exact same. So when we did that Side Hustle Tuesday episode the other day, about, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, about the guy who did the coffee grinder, you go on AliExpress and search manual, or I'm sorry, I keep saying AliExpress. You go on Alibaba and search manual coffee grinder, and it's literally hundreds of the same exact coffee grinder. So what Amazon's becoming to an extent to me is, whereas it used to be a place to find kind of cool and unique products, and it still is, but you go on Amazon and there's 500 of the same, faucet extender, but with just a different name slapped on it. I go to look for a tree hammock, and it's 500 of the same tree hammock, but somebody's different, logo screen printed on every different one. So that's one of the frustrating things for me, is like actually finding a product that's unique. So with Alibaba suppliers, one thing that I think is important is, at the very least, like changing the colors, changing the look of a product that you're going to be selling. But even more so if you can have somebody like alter a product. So actually, I'm gonna grab something. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna grab something for you guys right now. So here we have 2 backpacks. Now, what's kind of neat, this one is actually called the Neat Pack, and just kind of a funny story. There's this YouTuber. His name's Ryan something. I was going to try to find him. I won't be able to find him. But he's a pretty established Amazon FBA seller, has done a lot of private label brands. He actually kind of played Shark Tank with the girl who made this Neat Pack. And I think he helped kind of fund the Neat Pack for her. It turns out, and this kind of goes back to the whole meetup thing, for anybody else in Chicago, the girl who makes this Neat Pack, she has a weekly entrepreneur meetup kind of specifically focused about private labeling and Amazon FBA. And it's actually, you know, now that I think about it, it's in Elk Grove Village. So it's in the same city as this eCom Chicago. I think it's every Saturday morning from about 9 to 11. And like I said, this is like if you search Neat Pack on Amazon, this is a pretty popular product, has a lot of sales, has a lot of reviews. And it's a decent quality bag or backpack. And I really like bags, right? I love bags and fanny packs and all that stuff. I buy a ton of them. I like tactical bags and bags to take to the gun range. And so I initially bought this to use. Well, then I started thinking about making kind of my own product. So like hers is nice, but when we look at this one, let me just show you guys kind of some of the differences. So, I mean, this has like padding on the back. This one has better padding on the back. This one, I'm not going to pour water on it, but this is like a waterproof material. It's kind of crazy. If you pour water on this, it doesn't soak in at all. It just beads and like flies right off. I don't know, I guess it's hard to show you visually, but just the quality of the materials, everything about this bag is superior to this one. And then when you get into private labeling, there's like all types of like little tweaks that you can do. So, you know, here on this bag, I don't know if you guys can see this. Here on this bag, we have like that. You know, she chose to go with a different thing. She's got there's like a delay when I'm looking at it. She's got kind of a metal clasp here. This one's got a plastic one. I guess they both got the quick release. Little bit of a different style of like phone pouch on the front. Different type of mesh on the water bottle holder, but pretty much like everything about a product can be customized. So, you know, everything down to the zippers. Like if I wanted to do like paracord zippers, I could do that. If I wanted to do kind of this style zipper, this style zipper. So when they sent me my sample for this, they also sent me like 10 different kinds, and you have to ask for this stuff. They weren't going to offer it to me until I started asking for it. But I asked them, you know, what kind of different zipper pulls do you offer? So when they sent me the bag, they also sent me 10 or 12 different zipper pulls. They sent me a bunch of different, I'm not going to keep running back and forth. I got them in the other room, but they sent me the different types of closures and clasps, the different kind of buckles. This one you can see here has like a rubber sunglass holder built into here. As far as the logo, they were doing all types of mock-ups for me. So I could have had the logo really big there. I could have had the logo small there. I can emboss, I can deboss, I can screen print. So when you're doing these private label Amazon products, I mean, literally everything, I forget what it is. OEM is your own brand and ODM is a new product or whatever, but pretty much all these factories, I mean, they can customize products. They can change things. Like if I wanted this made to different dimensions, they could do that. And one thing that I find is like anything that's like plastic or metal that needs like, I don't understand the full manufacturing process, but anything that would need molds, they're going to charge you for, or you're going to have to do really high MOQs for them to adjust the product. But like anything like fabric, bags, fanny packs, anything like that, I mean, it's really, really easy for them to kind of tweak a product for you. It's funny, I was actually going to make a video kind of just walking people through like what it's like communicating with a supplier when you're trying to kind of alter a product. Oh, no web transfers. I'm working with someone in that situation. They want WordPress. Local merch. Yes, I'm really young. So I'm just trying to kind of catch up on the GoDaddy to SiteGround. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about SiteGround for hosting. Most web designers that I talk to recommend SiteGround. I've signed up for like a 5-year HostGator plan, so I'm stuck with them for a while. Cloudzilla, I hate WordPress. You know, I hate WordPress in terms of having to work on it, but I mean, there's really nothing more more customizable than WordPress. And one thing, I've talked about this a little bit, but I'm kind of starting to hate Shopify. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Shopify. I have one Shopify store right now. And my previous business was using Shopify, but a couple things I don't like about Shopify is, first, they won't let me use their payment processing. And even though they won't let me use their payment processing, they still charge me 2% on top of every transaction as a transaction fee. I mean, it's fair for eBay and Amazon to charge transaction fees because they're setting up the payment processor, they're bringing the traffic. But for Shopify to take a transaction fee for doing absolutely nothing just because you don't want to use their payment processor is kind of shady to me. And the other thing, I think it's becoming necessary to buy paid Shopify themes. I've heard a number of people talk about this, and I believe it as well, but pretty much 90% of Shopify stores are using one of 2 or 3 themes, right? Brooklyn, I don't know, when I used it was like Jumpstart All-Star or something, but most people are using Brooklyn or a couple others. And so what I think winds up happening is somebody buys, this power bank from this guy who they don't know is a drop shipper. The thing takes 45 days to get to them. It's crappy quality. They have a bad buying experience. And, a couple weeks goes by. Then they stumble upon my Shopify store. I actually hold inventory. I ship quickly. You'll have your item in a couple days. But when they see kind of the same look and feel on my store as they did on this crappy store that took 45 days to send them this poor quality battery charger, they kind of start associating Shopify stores with all these Shopify stores are kind of garbage drop shippers, and it kind of turns them off to your store. So I think the ability to make your Shopify site not look like a Shopify site is becoming more and more important every day. Organizational advice, research, spreadsheets to use, templates. I mean, I'll normally keep a spreadsheet of products that I think are interesting. I'll normally kind of cross-reference them on like Thomas.net, Alibaba, and Amazon, kind of see what I can buy it for, what it's selling for, see what the competition is like. Jungle Scout allows you to kind of pull a lot of spreadsheets and stuff like that too. We're in the exact situation. Winning daily. If you're if you're a WordPress developer, reach out to me. I think I'm going to try to build this forum and like a RulesForRebels.com site on my own, just to kind of learn WordPress a little bit more and some of that. But there definitely are some little tweaks and stuff that I know I'm not going to be able to get figured out myself. So if you're a WordPress developer, I'd definitely be open to hiring you. Starting so that you can recommend a little basis. GoDaddy to SiteGround, Weebly, Site Builder. I hate WordPress, or I suck. I suck at WordPress too. DreamHost has been using them since 2005. Yes, I'm real young. Yeah, Jack, if you watch, I forget what episode, maybe Young can drop it in, but Young had, I think if I recall correctly, I hope you don't mind, I guess it was talked about on Merch Talk, so I'm sure Young doesn't mind sharing it, although it is kind of a sore subject for him. But I think it was a place that he drops his dog off, like a dog playground thing. But he had done a bunch of work kind of educating a guy on doing a line of T-shirts at his shop and everything else. And when it got to the final end of it, to where the guy was actually going to start ordering shirts, the guy kind of flaked on Young and went and ordered the shirts on his own, and it kind of wasted Young's time. I hear a lot of people talking about local merch. I think it could work if you got someone selling shirts for $20-25 in their shop, and then you kind of chop up the commission with them, and then any sales that come through the platform, I would think that organically, I would think that you maybe could keep yourself or something like that, and they just get a cut of the stuff that you fulfill for them. I was actually thinking about trying to do kind of a local merch hustle. My girlfriend's family owns a big Western wear store in Chicago, so I was thinking about connecting with him and trying to do the local merch thing. No Pinterest yet. Trying to do too much. Should I hire a VA? I started dabbling with Pinterest a little bit in terms of trying to kind of market my shirts. I haven't put a ton of effort into it. The one thing that really helped me a lot was downloading the Pinterest Chrome extension. And then pretty much no matter what web page you're on, you have kind of a floating Pinterest button. I mean, this is probably basic stuff. A lot of you guys probably already know that. But I'd never really bothered to download the extension before. I haven't really been using Pinterest much in the past few years. But having that Pinterest extension allows me to go through my Redbubble store and my merch store and my Shopify store and just start pinning things to like party idea boards and things like that real easily. I think that you like about those bulletproof. Clout, man, it's funny you say bulletproof backpacks. I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately on the internet about bulletproof backpacks. I saw on WorldStar the other day, there was a guy who shot himself in his bulletproof jacket. I think Vice Magazine or Vice Magazine's YouTube channel the other day did like one of their little like 5 to 7 minute mini documentaries about those bulletproof backpacks and the inserts. I was checking this stuff out from China. There seemed to be good prices from a liability standpoint. I was, I mean, this is probably a long shot, but God forbid there's some school shooting and somebody has your bulletproof backpack and a bullet goes through it. I mean, I don't. If I were going to do something like that, I would have product liability insurance. Those bulletproof backpacks, I mean, that stuff is hot. That stuff's selling like crazy. One thing that seems kind of silly to me, I've seen a lot of these companies are making these like bulletproof notebooks, and they're basically saying that you would like hide behind a table and put a notebook up like this. I don't know if any of you like, I like going to the shooting range and going to the gun range. I mean, anybody who's been around guns knows how silly it is to think that you're going to hold up this bulletproof notebook in front of you when somebody's shooting at you. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But, the things seem to be hot sellers. Eric Rosner, what are new products coming? You know what? With new products, like with fad products and things like that, there's a ton of money to be made, but you got to get in at the right time. I got in at the right time on hoverboards. Me and my partner made a fortune on hoverboards. I was a little bit late to the game on fidget spinners. I'm trying to think of like some other like kind of like trending or kind of fad products that have come along. I like those products. There's good money to be made. The one thing that's kind of frustrating is you build up this business. It's really successful. You're making money. And then it comes to an end like that. So, I mean, with hoverboards, I think I started messing with hoverboards maybe September, October of either 2014, 2015. Started off doing, I started seeing them like on like Justin Bieber had it and some of these celebrity influencers, and Casey Neistat maybe had one. I started doing the AliExpress affiliate program, doing affiliate marketing, made like $800 my first month. I was like, there's something here. I ordered a couple boards off AliExpress, sold them on Craigslist, ordered 10 more, sold them, ordered 10 more, sold them, and then eventually started reaching out to Alibaba suppliers. And for the most part, I wound up getting most of my hoverboards from domestic companies in California. I was paying about 2 to 3 times what I would be paying if I imported them myself from AliExpress. But it actually wound up turning out to be a smart move after, they started getting stopped by customs. A lot of people, I know a ton of people who ordered hoverboards in September, October, November. Cloudzilla, buddy, go Bears! Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. I've been stressing on money a little bit lately, so every little bit counts. That actually means a lot to me. So I really appreciate it. What were we talking about? Oh, now I can't figure out how to make this thing go away. Shit, I can't get out of the. How do I get out of the super chat, man? Okay, there we go. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Oh, anyhow, yeah, we were shipping these hoverboards out from California. I know a ton of people who had ordered hoverboards back when they were popular, shelled out a bunch of money thinking they were going to make a fortune, and they didn't even wind up getting their boards until January or February. And at that point, you were no longer allowed to sell them on eBay. You were no longer to sell them on Amazon. Even on Craigslist and OfferUp, the market just totally fell out from under that. What do you think about new products coming? Phone cases, tanks. Phone cases are an interesting one. There's like really good margins on phone cases, but at the same time, phone cases are one of those items that the Chinese manufacturers that you're buying from, they're competing directly with you, selling direct to consumer, and so you're never going to be able to beat them on price. Go on eBay and start looking at some of these phone cases and look at like the feedback scores of some of these people. And some of these, because phone cases are cheap and people buy a lot of them. My girlfriend gets like 3 new phone cases every month. they rack up the feedback really quick. And the more, as you build up sales rank and feedback, or in the case of an Amazon reviews in a certain category, it becomes really hard to pass somebody up. So even if with phone cases, even if it looks like you have really good margins, it's almost impossible to compete with the Chinese manufacturers. The one interesting twist on phone cases that I would say, I don't know if you guys remember this, Google search fried chicken phone case. Somebody made a phone case a while back, and it basically, on the back of your phone, you had, everything's always opposite on here. On the back of the phone, there was this really realistic looking piece of fried chicken. And man, these things, I forget if they were selling them on Amazon or through a website, but man, these things like flew off the shelves. So if you're going to do phone cases, I'd find a way to make something really unique. Otherwise, with phone cases, I mean, I think print on demand is kind of a good way to go, just because there's no risk. You can try out a lot of different niches. You're not having to shell out any money. Obviously, your base price is a little bit higher, but if you start out doing phone cases print on demand, and you wind up having success with a certain niche, there's nothing stopping you from going and ordering those from an Alibaba supplier and making like 15x more per product sold, but at least you're not having to order that inventory up front. We have pop socket minis. Now, what's a pop socket mini? Just like a smaller pop socket? Young, who's Rosner? What am I missing? Let's see. Cloudzilla. I think phone cases will be huge. Oh, you're talking phone cases for Amazon? Yeah, I think phone cases for Amazon will be awesome. I was thinking we were talking about like ordering wholesale. I've thought about phone cases before, but it's like, okay, you need to order a case for every single phone. How many LG V20s are going to? Obviously, iPhones are like kind of an easy sale, but I mean, outside of that, you got iPhones. What the Samsung S8 and the Note are normally popular phones, but like, what else do you offer? You need to customize your YouTube front page. You can't see any of your videos. I only want to click. It sounds like that's something I had to do to mine recently. Reezy Resells had reached out to me, and even though I'm like pretty active on YouTube and stuff, a lot of times I'm either too lazy or in the past I've been too busy, and I never really dug into like all the inner workings of everything. So I remember one day, not that long ago, Reezy Resells hit me up, and he's like, dude, if you go to your YouTube channel, nothing shows up. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Nothing shows up. Well, you actually have to go in to customize your channel and kind of set whether you want the recent uploads, popular uploads, a certain playlist to play. Otherwise, if somebody just lands on your channel page, it just looks empty. It looks like your account is that of a viewer and not a creator. So shout out to Reezy Resells. But yeah, Reezy Resells kind of turned me onto that not that long ago, and I got my channel all set up. Are you on TeePublic? You know what? So I have one particular niche that's probably my best niche on merch, and I actually opened up a Shopify store to go along with it. And so at first I was Amazon merch, then I did the Shopify, then I expanded onto Redbubble. Redbubble's been pretty good for me. The majority of what I sell is stickers. Actually, I'm going to pull up my Redbubble account here right now. But after doing Redbubble, I was like, okay, I'm going to try Society 6. I'm going to try Spreadshirt. I'm going to try TeePublic. I was starting to hit all these different platforms. And I have kind of a series of between 50 and 60 shirts that I do. Sometimes I'll do other variations as well. But at a minimum, I have like 58 shirts that I have in a specific series of shirts. And so I've uploaded my 58 to every platform. It's been a little bit since I checked stats, but the only platform besides merch that's doing anything for me is Redbubble. My payout for Redbubble from September 19th to October 18th, so basically the past 30 days, is $109. If I look at sales, I would say I sell like maybe at least one product a day. On a good day, I might sell 4 to 6 products. If you're doing Redbubble, make sure to up your, don't leave it set at the default. I think on stickers, they normally have your thing set at 20, 30, 40%. And I saw people saying like bump stickers up to like 200%, because otherwise you can sell them all day and you're not going to make any money. So, I mean, before, when I sold a sticker, I'd make 10 cents, 20 cents, 80 cents, something like that. I mean, now at least on stickers, I'm looking at some commissions here. 206 commission, 309, 206, 309, 309, 309, 309. So at least it's, I mean, I'm not getting rich off it, but at least it's adding up to something moderately respectable. I noticed certain platforms too. I don't know. Feel free to chime in, you guys as well. But I noticed some platforms cater to different stuff. So I mean, in Amazon merch, you can do well with very basic text designs, right, or like a piece of clip art. Redbubble is a little bit more artistic. When you start getting into like Society6 and some of these other ones, it's a lot of like illustrated drawings and like really kind of creative artsy stuff, as opposed to just kind of like novelty t-shirts. As far as grabbing traffic to Amazon links, I've been using the AMS system. It's been fairly. Initially, it started off pretty profitable. Like I think I spent 90 cents and brought in a couple sales, so made 10, 15 bucks. Over the past couple weeks, it's still profitable. It's still in the green, but over the past couple weeks, it's been edging closer and closer towards being a break even. I've experimented with Amazon's automatic targeting as well as actually selecting my keywords. I figure as long as it's at a break even or even losing a little bit, I'm willing to keep the ad spend going. My thinking is that the more sales that I get, the higher I'm going to rank in search, the higher my BSR score is going to get. And even if the ads are only breaking even, that's going to start bringing me more organic sales as well. So that's one thing that I've been trying to keep in mind. It's kind of funny. A lot of like pretty big merchers who I see online and some who I personally talk to, a lot of people are saying they haven't even tried it. They haven't even used it on the Amazon merch subreddits. Everyone's like, just light a $100 bill on fire because that's what AMS ads is. So one of two things: either everybody is so close-minded to them, they're not willing to try them, or two, which is also possible, people are actually having success with the AMS ads and don't want anybody else doing them. You know, it's kind of funny. My girlfriend, anytime like we order, she always says that I eat all her food. So anytime we order takeout or order food or whatever, you know, I'll be eating my food and I'll be like, how's your pad thai? And she'll be like, it's horrible. You don't want any, right? Because she doesn't want me to take a bite and love it and eat all her food. So I think the same thing might be happening with AMS ads. People are like, oh, it sucks. Don't even bother trying it because they don't want you hopping on the bandwagon as well. When they first rolled them out, you know, I really didn't like the idea of them. I didn't want to get into a position where we're all forced to start buying ads and things like that. But I figure if other people are going to do it, I better at least explore it. And, you know, after doing it, it's bringing me some sales. As long as it stays profitable, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, I mean, outside of AMS ads, I do put a few of them on Pinterest. I know Young, if he's still in the room, Young and Glen had a good podcast back in the summertime. I forget the guest name, but they had somebody come on and talk about like niche websites. Now, I don't think it would make sense to build a blog strictly to drive Amazon merch sales. But if you're already a digital marketer, affiliate marketer, if you can find some other ways to monetize, you know, if you have a fantasy football blog and you have some kind of affiliate program with FanDuel and you can make money that way, well, why not write an article about, you know, hey, buy this, I lost, you know, you make a pink shirt with unicorns and rainbows and I suck at fantasy football, and make the loser of your fantasy football league wear it. Like you can start kind of plugging your shirts into, you know, niche websites like that you have going as well. I think I've seen that price tag too. Teespring, Redbubble. You know, I haven't really messed with Teespring. Years ago, I made some Donald Trump grab her by the pussy merchandise back before he was getting elected on Teespring, and I ordered one of the shirts, and I cheaped out. I bought a Hanes shirt, which Hanes, the quality is just abysmal. And granted, Teespring does offer better quality shirts, but you could tell they folded my shirt before it was dry. So the ink wound up sticking together. So when I got the shirt, it was like stuck together. I had to peel it apart. The printing was messed up. The ink didn't really take well to the shirt. And ever since then, it's kind of turned me off to them. One cool thing I did see is YouTube is now integrated with Teespring. So I don't know if you guys ever watching a YouTuber's videos and you see down below the video like t-shirt ads that like look like you can buy them like natively through YouTube. That's part of that partnership, and I was meaning to try to get that set up. Watch replay. You bring a ton of value. Thanks. Thank you, short and sweet. You got it. I'll send you an email. Okay, yeah, reach out to me, Winning Daily. Pinterest for pop sockets. I think that's a cool idea. Got to help fellow YouTubers. It's the green chat of death. What about the poor schmucks who ordered fidget spinners? Yeah, a lot of people got screwed on fidget spinners, although I think a lot of the people doing fidget spinners were drop shipping. So maybe some of them weren't affected. you know, one of the nice things, if you get your inventory cheap enough, and as long as you're not the last person in, I mean, I forget what the cost of fidget spinners were, but they were dirt cheap. So hopefully most people were able to dump them at a small loss or no loss at all. I tried DHgate for bongs, ordered 2 more. I don't know if you ordered bongs for personal use or for resale, but one of the tough things with bongs and any weed stuff is the payment processing. You know, I've been involved in kind of the high risk payment processing space for a long time, and it's definitely a huge headache. It's like 15 steps for AMS setup. You know, AMS setup wasn't too bad. It was for some reason it's not grabbing my shirts by ASIN, but I'll just find the shirts that I want to run AMS ads on. I'll copy and paste the title into the AMS program. I've been a lot more auto targeting than I have picking keywords. Crap, I think we're gonna run out of battery here soon. We'll make it through chat, and I got a dentist appointment at 2 o'clock here that I got to run out to. But let's kind of run through chat here. I'm gonna be doing a lot more live streams here in the future too, so I appreciate everybody stopping in and kind of keeping the conversation going. Got to run. Thanks for the chat. Winning Daily's got to run. Thanks, man. Back at you. I'll check out your site. 15 steps. YouTube has been doing new stuff ever since the apocalypse. Nothing's been the same. Yeah, guys. So I think we've kind of made it in chat. I really appreciate everybody stopping in today. Like I said, I kind of got a little jolt, a little boost of confidence today from attending that meetup. Had a great chat with Chris Green and Glen and Ken. Really appreciate them kind of volunteering their time, and appreciate them taking the time to talk to me. Hope to connect with them later this weekend. I will keep you guys in the loop on what this eCom Chicago is all about. I'll be there all day tomorrow and all day Saturday. So I should be hopping back on for some live streams. Maybe we'll even try to live stream something from the event. Thanks again, guys, so much. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys coming on to chat. And I'll catch everybody on the next video.